Good morning, everyone. Woo! What a morning it is. My name is Reverend Tamara Merrill, and I'm a staff minister here and very honored to be here today. With each sermon that I do, I like to start off with participation, and that is from you as well as myself, in setting an intention of what you want to walk away from today. Whether it's through the beautiful music, the message, the prayers, something that you want to carry with you as a spiritual warrior in these times. So an intention is something that you plant within your heart and mind for a particular outcome or desire. And that is the basic premise of what Ernest Holmes does when he talks about that it is not enough to say that we attract what we think in life. We actually become what we think. And what we become, we shall attract. So right in this moment, let us have 30 to 60 seconds of setting an intention, your intention, for your life. So I invite you to join me in the silence right now. And so it is. This morning, the theme today is planting your intentions. So, as usual, I like to start off with the definitions both of the Oxford Dictionary and the Webster Dictionary. Planting seems pretty simple. To put or set in the ground for growth. Or to plant an idea. To suggest an idea so another thinks it. Now, intention. Intention, a way of being in the world. Being intentional, being aware of your why, your purpose, your reason for doing what you're doing. Intention is a state of mind of one who aims to bring about a particular consequence. Our intentions create our reality. I just love how smart they are, you know. This is a bit of a long quote. It's from Clarissa Pinkola Estes, 2008. But it is amazing. I think it speaks so much of where we are right now in our country and within our own hearts and minds. See if this fits for you. You were made for this. Ours is not the task of fixing the entire world all at once, but of stretching out to mend the part of the world within our reach. Any small, calm thing that one soul can do to help another soul, to assist some portion of this poor and suffering world, will help immensely. It is not given to us to know which acts, or by whom, will cause the critical mass to tip towards an enduring good. What is needed for this dramatic change is an accumulation of acts, adding to more acts. We know that it does not take everyone on earth to bring justice and peace, but only a small, determined group who will not give up during the first, the second, or 100th gale. One of the most calming and powerful actions you can take is to intervene in a stormy world, is to stand up and show your soul. Every soul on the deck shines like gold in the dark times. The light of the soul throws sparks, can send up flares, can build signal fires, causes proper matters to catch the whole world on fire. This is to display the lantern of the soul in the shadowy times. This is your calling, to be fierce and to show mercy towards others. Both are acts of immense bravery and a greatest necessity. Struggling souls catch the light from other souls who are fully lit and are willing to show it. If you would help calm the tumultuous times, this is one of the strongest things you can do. There will always be times when you feel discouraged. I too have felt despair many times in my life. But I do not keep a chair for it. I will not entertain it. It is not allowed to eat from my plate. In this spirit, I hope you write this on your wall. When a great ship is in harbor and it is safe, we know there is no doubt. But that is not what great ships are built for. Boy, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? I'm not sure where to start, but I will tell you that I'm going to share 3 short stories of my personal experience in the last few weeks. And then I'm going to go about and share with you about how we plant intentions, how we water the ideas of faith and compassion, and how we plant seeds, and how we till the soil. But first, I want to share a story. There has been so many things going on around. Every time we turn on the TV, there's something to be mortified by. But I want you to hear what's going on within our county, within our reach. That's not being talked about, it's not being televised, and it's happening. You see, it is our duty to be outraged, but it is not our duty to get revenge or to sit in anger and bemoan about and blame the other people. It is our responsibility to find our tools and to voice what we know is justice and truth. And within our reach, whatever we can do, whatever we can show compassion, wherever we can talk kindly, this is not blame. This is time where we have to know who we are and where our faith is. Because let me tell you something. The tools of this administration is tyranny. And the tyranny is for you to be afraid or for you just to be apathetic and go back to sleep. So if you're choosing those options, I implore you, there are only 2 options right now, and that is you choose courage or you choose comfort. And you stand believing that it's not going to touch you, okay? I'm telling you, that is not a spiritual warrior, and that is not what we're here for, to stand up for humanity and peace and social justice, okay? Not what we're here for. Courage takes vulnerability. It means that you have to step out and feel uncomfortable, and you may fall on your face, and that's okay. Comfort is a beautiful thing. I'm not saying don't take your joy away. I'm saying find your joy in the midst of being fierce, okay? And whatever you do, do not mistake my kindness for weakness. That is not what it is. My kindness is compassion and unconditional love. And that's the justice of both the spiritual world and the material world. And it will always win. Not without difficulty, my friends. just 3 weeks ago, I have a very close friend that is Catholic and goes to the Mission San Juan Bautista Catholic Church. And she is very devout. She's a lectern. She reads from the Bible up there with the deacon and the priest. And she called me up in a panic early in the morning, like 3 calls. I need your prayers. I need your prayers. I need your prayers. I was like, oh dear, something is going on. So I get a hold of her and she tells me this. She's breathless. She says, Tamara, I walked into the 8:30 Mass, and there were a young couple spread down on their hands and knees on the floor, and Father Cabrera was bending down talking to them. They were in a panic. They were wailing. They were screaming. They were crying. And I said, oh my God, what happened? She said, they dropped their 10-year-old child off to school, and school called 5 minutes later saying that ICE had kidnapped their daughter in front of the school. This is in our county, folks. This is in our backyard. Children being kidnapped so that ICE can coax their parent out to take them to jail. And if you think that you're removed from that, let me tell you, you're just up maybe one rung of the ladder, attacking the most vulnerable people without rights, with no due process. The poor, the immigrants, and then the disabled, then the LGBTQ, then the elderly, and then the middle class. Trust me, tyranny is about power over. Power over has to include making people afraid. Afraid. Do not let them make you afraid of anything. You know where your source is. You know where your power is. Don't do it. Do not let them walk through your mind with their dirty feet. It is not okay. You are here for a reason and a season. And no matter what container you show up in, young, old, disabled, this is your time to practice what you believe, to stand up for justice. We are here because in our very community, they are kidnapping children as pawns. This is not acceptable, folks. Not acceptable. And if somewhere that doesn't resonate outrage in you, then I think you need to go into some meditation. I want you to know something that I don't share this story very often, okay? Because some people think it came off of TV, but it didn't. I was there in 1976 in Argentina with my brother. We had gone to Argentina for a couple months from our home in Brazil. Perón died, and his second wife, not Evita, but his second wife took over. There was a coup storming in Argentina in the 70s, and it was a military right coup. In 1976, it took over. The rich people thought, hey, they're only going to conquer the poor people. They're not going to touch us, right? Between 1976 and 1983, 30,000 people went missing, mostly young, wealthy, college-age students or young families used as ransom for money for the military. When I went across the border in the bus, people had their chickens. I remember somebody had a pygmy pig in their lap. I was like, oh, that's cool. Look at the pig, on your bus. And we're driving, beautiful country, beautiful people. We get a hotel. We're in Buenos Aires. That night we heard gunshots, automatic gunshots. It was scary, but we couldn't get home for a week. When we were walking the streets downtown, there were young protesters, just like the protesters on the universities in our country. And you remember Kent State. This young man was on a crate box, and he was I couldn't understand it. He was speaking Spanish too fast for me. I'm not fluent. And I was mesmerized by the crowd and the people and the passion. And I was watching him. And then my brother wanted to move on, and we went to the next market. And we went down to sit for some lunch outside on a little table. And there was this commotion. There was gunshots in the air. And I saw that very young man run down the street, being chased by military men with automatic weapons and bayonets, the guns that have the knives in them. They jumped in a large military truck and proceeded to run him over in front of me. He flew in the air, and from the back, right about where Becky is back there, he flew in the air and landed probably 40, 50 feet from my brother and I. A young college student, come to find out from the paper, wealthy family. When humanity does not rise for social justice and humanity, if one person is being taken away from their rights and their ability to thrive as a human being with dignity, it is all our problem, folks. It is all our problems. It sure is easy to be comfortable and talk about oneness, but now we're on the line. Your prayers, whatever's within your reach. We could be no different than Argentina or Rwanda or anything in a heartbeat. So what can we do? How can we not be afraid? Is to remember where our power lies. Our power lies in the infinite understanding that love will reign and that it only takes a small group of determined people to tilt this consciousness and bend towards good. Only a small, determined group of people. Ernest Holmes talks about how consciousness manifests. This is the time, folks. This is the time. This is the hour to turn your attention, what is within your reach. And it is difficult. I am going to say a bad word here. It's not mine. It's Brene Brown's. But I agree with her. And she said, do not argue and try to win an argument with haters. You are not a jackass whisperer. Okay, pardon me if I've said something not cool for you. But it's not about arguing. It's not about winning an argument here. It's about being fierce and being kind. And making no mistake that that's weakness. Make no mistake that your voice is weak. Make no mistake. Tyranny uses fear. Don't be afraid. And we cannot be so angry that we get caught in revenge, because that's their game. The blame and revenge is their game. That's not a spiritual warrior's game. That is not how we play. We are here for all. So we have to carve out mercy in all of it towards our brothers and sisters who have lost their way towards each other and humanity. Now that's the work. So how do we do? What can we do? How do we reach out? I know that you will find a way. A way knows the way. I have to tell you 2 little stories I was at in Cordelitas at the wonderful little restaurant I go to, and I was talking to a friend, and I didn't think I was that loud, but I must have been. I had 6 people walk up to me that were eating on the patio, different tables. I like what you said. Can I have your phone number? And I was like, wow, yeah. And then somebody turned around and said, I'm a Christian, but I'm a good one. And I was like, oh, okay, I never said you weren't, you know. And he goes, let me tell you what I do at work. I carry this Bible verse. When they took, when they took the U.S. aid away, he goes, and I do scripture at work about who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to care for one another. I said, that's amazing. And then this other lady came up and she goes, I found 29 ways online how to, fight back. And I said, well, thank you. I was just eating breakfast, talking, moving my mouth, It comes to you. People are drawn to people who are standing for justice and love and compassion and are fierce. And if somebody tells you that prayer is weak, prayer is not weak. Prayer is the movement of the soul, the very essence of who we are. And then the second little story is, I was there. Topher and I and my son were at grocery outlet, buying our good discounted stuff, especially the eggs. Anyway, I was first, and Doug and I were doing our groceries, and Topher was behind me. And there was this beautiful Hispanic mother and daughter. And Topher turns to the mother and said, I see you. I'm glad you're here. And what moved him in spirit, the lady said, well, thank you. And he goes, I stand with you. She started to cry. She says, nobody's ever told me that. And her daughter started to cry. She says, my daughter has been so scared, so depressed, she doesn't even want to go outside. And just knowing, and I'm going to put it, that these white people who she felt didn't want them there, didn't respect them, didn't care about their plight, made a gesture of kindness. How does that impact one? It impacts people to the depths of their being, to know one is not alone, to know that people feel that we all belong here, no matter our status. Those are the values to fight for. I just feel like this is an opportunity to also look at the silver lining around us. Europe is coming together. Canada is becoming more of Canada than it's ever been, probably. And as somebody once said, they're the labradoodles of countries. They're always happy. Hey, I'm a Canadian, And we were picking on them. And trust me, do not mistake my kindness for a weakness, they said. You see, the world is watching us, and the world is standing up for themselves. And right now, the Democratic Party is at the lowest ever because we can't hear the voices or the leadership like we want to. So the silver lining I hear is that I've been to so many town halls and I hear the same stuff. We're going to wait till 2026. No. But it takes you. It takes me, a small group of determined people to turn the tides. And looking out at some of the other things like Bernie Sanders, and I'm sorry if I'm political, but hey, you know what? I think it's bigger than a small crowd of determined people. And we have to. Because if you've ever been to a foreign country and seen when they turn their backs on poor people and the disfranchised people, it is ugly. It is sad. It is heart-wrenching. It is awful. We are a first world country. Let us take care of our most vulnerable. Let us take care of ourselves. Let us stand on freedom. Let us stand on justice. Let us plant those seeds. Let us water those seeds as we put our intentions out to every conversation, not out of winning a conversation or debate or blaming or shaming the other guy who, yeah, look what you voted for. No, that's not what it's about. It's forgiveness. It's courage. It's mercy. I implore you to find that in your hearts and your souls. And with each touch of a soul, you have the power to empower another soul. That is your work, and everything you say, everything you do, everywhere you go. Thank you. Woo! Yeah. Let us go into prayer, the next level. Knowing that the light of the soul ignites from within each and every one of us. It ignites so this determined group of spiritual warriors will bend the arc of justice to the good in which it is born from. For somewhere deep within our recesses of our hearts and our minds, we know that what is true is not overpowering through fear. That is not respect. Respect comes from acknowledging and honoring all life. Honoring not the status, not what they say, but what people do. Mother Teresa said, we cannot do great things alone in life, but we could do small things with great love. Love is needed. It is to combat the darkness of fear for our brothers and our sisters. And as spiritual warriors, we are committed to a life of service, not of attainment, but of experience of remembering who we are. The love, the compassion, the kindness, the beauty, the gratitude. That is what gives us the breath of life, the beauty in life, the joy in life. Stand up, be in service, remember who you are. And in knowing this truth, this realization, this unification of oneness, I am so grateful to be here, so honored to be here in a time as this, to fight the good fight, to stand for what I know instinctively and internally, intrinsically, I know what is right. To love, to honor, to bless, and to hold the highest ideals for all the world and all mankind. And so, as I release my word to the truth that sets me free, I say, and so it is.